Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to start this week's Fan Fridays, and it looks like Shiinotic has a shot, so let's see how this battle ends up playing out. We have doubles Shiinotic. It's a frail Pokemon, but it also has a lot of devastating potential, so I'm always excited to see this dangerous mushroom on the field. And we also have a little bit of Ribombee action as well. I mean, we already played up a lot of the Dancer, Quiver Dance shenanigans earlier on in this generation, so let's see what we can do with the new friend by its side. And that's the speed swap. Alright, there we go. Already bringing out some craziness. Never would I have imagined that we're actually going to have speed in the Shiinotic. That's Fiery Dance, and it looks like Ribombee is going to be the target of this attack. That's going to bring Ribombee down to 1 hit point. Focus Sash keeps it alive, but Primarina has a super effective hit of its own onto Shiinotic, but Shiinotic tanks it pretty well. And there's the Spore. Oh, that's actually beautiful. That's actually beautiful, because if Shiinotic survives the first turn, it's double Spore. Because now it has the speed swap, so it should be faster than almost every Pokemon. Anything that is faster than Shiinotic, Shiinotic puts to sleep. So then it just outspeeds the other thing the next turn. And that's 2 Pokemon down to the Spore. My thought is, why does Shiinotic not have the Focus Sash? Because it is vulnerable. My guess is so Ribombee can also set up a Quiver Dance and then do some destructive stuff as well. Unfortunately, Strength Sap isn't going to be the best in this situation, but Ribombee is actually just going to go for the straight damage on Draining Kiss, not doing a lot to Primarina because it is a high Pokemon, or a Pokemon with high special defense investment, or natural special defense stats. It's complicated talking about Primarina. Let's just say that. So that we have Shiinotic with the Leech Seed, so asleep and seated. Now, we're going to see some sustain coming out of the Shiinotic right now. But again, Strength Sap not going to be incredibly effective in this situation. I'm wondering how it's going to take down the Volcarona and all this other stuff, as Ribombee goes for another Draining Kiss. I feel like Pheromosa for like Speed Swap Pokemon would also be a pretty crazy one in this situation. Because the Ribombee, it doesn't put out insane amounts of damage, but it might bring something else that I'm not ready for. And then things are going to get pretty crazy. But now, Primarina under half hit points with all the Leech Seed and all that fun stuff. And Shiinotic almost back up to full. So that's going to be Shiinotic with the Moonblast. Can Shiinotic do damage? Volcarona takes a little bit of a hit right there. And, ooh, we actually get the special attack drop. As Volcarona wakes up into the Fiery Dance. Fiery Dance is going to target the Shiinotic. Hey, the opponent's actually having good target selection, but Shiinotic tanks it. So I'm guessing max special defense investment, since this is going to work out really well if you have something else. And that is going to be the Z move for the Primarina. Don't worry, guys. I don't have to worry about copyright. I don't have to worry about the claiming feature on YouTube, mostly because I like that check mark. So since I'm a managed channel on YouTube, I'm safe, and like I don't have to worry about instant. Like that's the I was about to make a video about this whole thing, about the shenanigans behind the animations. So it's pretty much just the auto content ID. I think it's mostly because the Japanese YouTube channel has this, and like Nintendo of Japan is really protective about their IPs and stuff. A lot of the smaller channels, they just get auto claimed. So it's not really anyone seeking out my video. I'm pretty sure that since this is natural gameplay, which we're already getting away with, a Nintendo representative isn't going to care about like seeking me down and then shutting down my channel. It's just the auto system, and I guess, you know, you could get that reversed or something. But yeah, I don't have to worry about auto claims as a checkmark or a managed YouTube channel. So that's just some YouTube trivia for you guys. It means I can get away with just kind of having something that would be claimed for a bit longer than people wouldn't. A little bit more protection. So if you want to be able to use that animation, get like 20,000 subscribers and ask your network to partner you or manage you, then you'll be good to go. And that's going to be Volcarona going back down. Wow, that was actually a very long animation cycle for that, to where I was able to tell that entire story. Electros, though, takes this solid hit. That's going to be Thunderbolt onto Primarina. Primarina is going to be traded right there and goes down. And also with the Volcarona sleep, it's going to be pretty tough for the opponent. We'll say that. And then Shiinotic's going to keep gaining stats. Now Metagross comes in. Hey, we have a Strength Sap target. But Metagross also could do insane... Well, actually, no, I was about to say, Metagross could do insane amounts of damage, except Shiinotic has the outspeed, so it goes to full hit points. Metagross goes to -1. And I don't know if a Bullet Punch would be enough... Bullet Punch would probably be enough for Mega Metagross to KO. Or, yeah, to KO the Shiinotic. But that's going to be Spore, so no Bullet Punch on this Mega Gross. it's understandable because like Metagross wants to go for coverage. You know, if you have Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash, well, now you don't get to do all the fun stuff like Earthquake, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, you know, all that cool coverage stuff. And the Electros shows that Flamethrower. That's one of like the sneaky things about the Electros. It does have that Flamethrower as well as having no weaknesses because Levitate Electric type Pokemon are pretty ridiculous like that. And that's going to be the Quick Claw on the Electros. So putting Metagross to sleep, that's going to be Thunderbolt onto the Volcarona, start whittling that Pokemon down. And then Strength Sap to just tap out the Metagross. So attack drops, and Shiinotic's at full. And even with another drop, like, Shiinotic will go to full health. Like, that's kind of the craziest thing about Strength Sap, is the amount of hit points Pokemon has compared to, like, just the the amount of an attack stat that a Pokemon has as well. That's still insane amounts of healing. So that's going to be Moonblast targeting Volcarona once again. Oh, another special attack drop as well. Moonblast is kind of crazy. It doesn't have like a 20% chance instead of like the expected 10% chance for a stat drop. Either way, that's going to be the Fiery Dance, going to try to target the Electros since it doesn't really have that great of a special defense. But the Flamethrower will be able to take down the Metagross that is asleep. And yeah, that's just kind of it. I like the idea. Like when I first saw it, you know, the speed swap on that Shiinotic is kind of brutal because you got that really quick Spore and it's permanent. It's not like a Tailwind that goes away. It's not like a Trick Room that goes away. As long as that Shiinotic's on the field, it's going to have speed. And then Electros is also pulling some shenanigans. So Thunderbolt will finish off the Volcarona, you know, because Celesteela, it can stall. But in a lot of like the just multi-Pokemon situations, Celesteela can only hold out for so long. It doesn't have like absurd amounts of KO pressure. So yeah, you Spore it and then you hit it with some Thunderbolts. Maybe a Strength Sap just in case you don't have to worry about the heavy slam. You know, just drop it down to nothing and it's going to be over. Also, Leech Seed from the Shiinotic. Celesteela can't Leech Seed Shiinotic as well, so that trade will eventually go down. And there's just more sustain on the sides. So Electros throwing down the Flamethrower. That's going to hit the Celesteela for ace. What is this? What is this Electros? It is doing a lot of damage. Yeah, I guess just max hit points, max special attack, modest nature. Put in the work on the Electros apparently. And there's the Strength Sap. So just going to steal a little bit from that Celesteela, and then we can tell that this game is now done. So one more hit from the Electros will seal the deal. That's going to be the Thunderbolt. That's going to be the mad damage, and that is going to be the GG. So let's go into another battle and see how the rest of this combo plays out in other situations. And battle number 2, so let's see how this one plays out. Get a quick look at the opponent's team, and then we're going to get right on into it. So, I think with the tankier kind of open the opponent has, that's going to go pretty poorly. I don't see like an insane amount of KO potential though either because it's Toxapex, it's Palossand. These Pokemon are built to be tanky and have sustain. But I mean, they're going to be free sleep targets. I don't even know if you would need the speed swap against that as well. Shiinotic though does have a really poor speed, but it looks like that is being read pretty correctly. So yeah, let's just start getting Draining Kiss damage down onto the Palossand, and that's going to be the Iron Defense. Now against special attackers like the Palossand and the Shiinotic, I don't see it being too crazy, but Toxapex with the stockpile, and it shows that, yeah, Shiinotic is just that slow, unfortunately. So not really going to get too much else out of it. Also, wait, why isn't Ribombee using, like, Speed Swap again? Like, couldn't you Speed Swap with a Shiinotic, then Speed Swap again to give the slow speed to another Pokemon? Thus, now Ribombee is actually still going to have a solid amount of speed. So that's going to be the Speed Swap coming in. Much like I did, just kind of overestimating the speed from the Shiinotic, I guess, in this situation. That's going to be Toxic onto the Ribombee. So ticking down that long-term poison game, as soon we're just going to see those outspeeds on the Spore. So that's going to be Shiinotic onto Toxapex, and that's asleep. And now it gets fancy. So Ribombee going to take a little bit of damage from poison. Will start to add up, but Ribombee's kind of frail. It's a Focus Sash Pokemon anyways, so whatever happens from that happens. And then the Leech Seed will start to drain the Toxapex as well, as Palossand remains asleep. And Toxapex is asleep as well. That just kind of happens. So Ribombee with the Aromatherapy. Alright, that's a little bit of support. There we go. That's a little extra that I want to see out of the Ribombee in this strat. It's always great to see that extra, like instead of just getting one battle where we have all these questions. We have the second battle. The questions are being answered, and Shiinotic now has a double leech seed. And whenever a Pokemon can like land the double leech seed, it's nearly invincible. It's unstoppable at that point, gaining a quarter of its hit points every turn. The Toxapex going for that mad stockpile game. It does have a lot of sustain outside of it, so the Toxapex might take a while to get over. And then Draining Kiss will take a bit more off the Palossand. I don't think it's 3-hit KO unless we get a really weird damage roll. Actually, never mind. That's going to be enough after the Leech Seed. Yeah, so Palossand doesn't really have much left in it. And then Toxapex, since it does have a low amount of hit points, not really healing Shiinotic for the full 8th. So I guess that's something to consider. But Shiinotic's got the Spore. So yeah, whenever something decides to be pesky and wake up, just Spore it. Take it down like that. GG. And Palossand's going to wake up and throw down the Hypnosis. So that's going to be landing onto Ribombee. It was the Pokemon that had the KO potential onto the Palossand. And then Toxapex is asleep. Got it. So many Pokemon are asleep. That's kind of ridiculous. Like, yeah, then Palossand goes to sleep from the Spore. Except Shiinotic can just opt in for the Moonblast. So remove the Palossand. Toxapex will be asleep. Ribombee will be asleep. We'll see his next Pokemon. And then things will kind of fall in like that. Except Ribombee actually going to switch out. And Eelektross will be in. So Eelektross does bring that damage. And it actually is a threat to the Toxapex. So yeah, now we're removing the Ground-type Pokemon from Palossand. So the damage from the Eelektross will be able to go in full onto the Toxapex. And then we get to see the response Pokemon. This is just a fun little team. Fun little strategy. I will give it that. You know, Shiinotic, you don't see... Like, I just kind of like the idea that if it survives the first turn, things are double spored and Shiinotic's going back to full. And then it finds a way. So Eelektross' Quick Claw lets it go first, and that's going to be the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt targeting the Toxapex, and that'll be enough to drop it. Ooh! Ooh, fancy. And then Shiinotic with the Spore. That speed boost, no, you can't contend with like the over 120 base speed Spore. That was not programmed in the game. That was not intended by the developers to see that happen. Such a fast, unstoppable, speedy move, or sleepy move like that. And then Toxapex does go down to the Leech Seed. So I had a little bit of extra out of that, like, survival from Thunderbolt. Tanky Pokemon, all those stockpiles did give it extra life. But now with the Gyarados, it is bad, because Eelektross does get the mad drop with that Thunderbolt. And then we just have the Shiinotic outspeed to start taking down Incineroar's strength. So it's going to be Strength Sap with special attackers on the field. The Intimidate doesn't really do much. And then bad things. So Shiinotic will avoid. That's going to be Incineroar with the Fire Blast. So actually the mixed or special having more effectiveness than the Strength Sap. But then Thunderbolt, Gyarados doesn't stand a chance. And then we just kind of take it away from here. No Thunderbolt damage. That'll add up on Incineroar. Moonblast, because why not? Might as well hit for that neutral, because that strange typing that Incineroar has. And that's going to be a special attack drop. Wow. Every time the Moonblast lands, yo. So the Fire Blast onto Shiinotic. It's a big hit, but not big enough. Even after the special attack drop. Still 2-hit KO potential, but not enough to like 1-hit KO. Super scariness. And Shiinotic's just faster anyway. So Moonblast lands. Incineroar's down. Could have just done whatever, but that's going to be the game right there. So yeah, like I was saying, just fun strat. I could praise and go on about this for a while, that it does have that potential. It's a nice little spin on what we've seen. Ribombee does have those supportive qualities, but not a lot of damage to back it up. I'd be interested in seeing what a Pheromosa could do with this as well, because like you speed swap, so they have faster speed on that Spore, and they either have to focus Pheromosa, or Pheromosa turns into a threat. And if they don't, now you have a Spore Pokemon for the others. But I could also give props to Alan, instead of just like taking the easy Pheromosa route, kind of giving more play to the Ribombee, and then showing off a team of other Pokemon that aren't really used as often. I was honestly surprised by the damage that Eelektross was putting out. You just don't think, hey, it's going to just start whomping super effective hits, even on tanky Pokemon. So it worked out pretty well, and I hope you guys enjoyed the start to Fan Fridays. I think it was a pretty good way to start your Friday.